The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
And welcome to the rally for MCCC contract funding. How is everyone doing? So my name is Colleen Avedikian. I'm a professor of sociology here at Bristol Community College, but I also am the secretary for the statewide MCCC. And it really gives me a lot of pleasure to see so many colleagues today. We have supportive administrators, human resources. Thank you very much for the snacks and the food. We have representatives from several of the academic areas, right? We have health sciences, nursing. We have BSSE, Behavioral Social Science. We also have Andrew, yes, thank you very much. Yes, we also have Andrew Fisher, the Vice President of Academic Affairs here. But I would like to start out by introducing to those of you who may not know her, President Laura Douglas is going to address the crowd before the rally starts. Please, Dr. Douglas.
Thank you, Dr. Avedikian. I guess you can hear okay. That's great. Well, thank you very much for coming out today. It's a very important day to talk about what we believe in. I want to thank all of our MCCC members who are here today, but also those of you who represent other groups such as AFSCME and our non-unit professionals. You know, it's really important that we come together to support each other, because we're all here to do the same thing, right? To educate our students, to support them in their endeavors, and also to be a very important provider of education and training to our communities. I also want to thank Colleen for introducing me today and letting me say a few words, and also to President of the MCCC, Mike Gary, who invited me to come and to say a few words. So thank you so much for your support. I want you to know that I stand with you. And I stand with you today because we really do need our legislature to go ahead and commit to funding this very important collective bargaining agreement. You have been without a contract and without a raise for a very long time, during a very hard time. It has been way too long, and I am really sorry that it has taken so long for this to occur for you. You know, the last 3 years have been very challenging, not just for you, for all of us, but especially you when you haven't had the type of raises that you deserve. We've had COVID, which really was a devastating moment in our lives. We've all been dealing with a very profound mental health crisis, not just amongst our community members and our students, but also with our own families that have had a difficult time navigating these waters. And also we've had just historic rates of inflation that have made it very difficult for all of us to survive. And it's not just the everyday cost of living like groceries and gasoline, it's also some of those really big ticket items like housing, right? Like cars. You know, when your car breaks down and you need a new car, you can't put it off. Yet when you haven't had a raise and when prices are escalating out of control, I know that it's very, very difficult. And you, our educators, and your families deserve more. And I hope that this will come soon for you. I know that as educators, myself included, we don't expect to be paid at the very highest levels, right? We make a lot of sacrifices because we love our profession and we love serving our students. But we do deserve a livable wage. You deserve better wages. You deserve a wage that will support your children and your families. And remember, we fund our own higher education, right? And that doesn't come at a very small cost. And I recognize that many of you have made that investment in your own education, and so you deserve to get some of that reward as well. But here in Massachusetts, our wages have been historically low. And that is something that the community college presidents and myself have been really trying to change. We talk about this all the time, what we can do to make things better and make things different for you. But even though we are historically low in our pay, I also recognize the additional burden that you face in living in one of the most expensive states in the union, and that doesn't make it any easier. And so I know that adds kind of an insult to injury to you. But today's rally is about asking our legislature to take on the supplemental budget and the MCCC collective bargaining agreement that has been sitting out there for many, many months at this particular time. I do want you to know that the House is supposed to take this up in a formal session sometime in the near future. We know that November 15th is the deadline in which to get this work done. And I do follow State House News and look for it every day to see whether today or tomorrow is going to be the day that the collective bargaining agreements will be taken up as a whole. I know that this is a very discouraging moment, but I also want to give you some hope. And that is that our Bristol delegation, our legislators here in Bristol County, very much support you. They support your work. They support Bristol Community College. You need to know that many of them are alumni of Bristol Community College. Many of them have sent their spouses or children to Bristol Community College. But all of them support the work that you do in each of our communities, Attleboro, Taunton, Fall River, and New Bedford. And this year has been, in many ways, very historical in their support for the work that you do. So I want us to remember that. I also want you to know that I am very optimistic that the legislature will vote to approve funding your collective bargaining agreement. No one has told me that they are not. No one has not. We're not really sure why the delays, but I am optimistic that it will be done soon. I also want you to know that Bristol Community College is standing by just as soon as the decision is made. Our payroll area, as well as our human resources area, that also very nicely provided you some sandwiches and some snacks because we recognize it's your lunch hour. But everyone is ready to go. They have put in very long hours making multiple calculations. It's not been easy. I know you know that the new agreement creates a lot of different levels and layers, but we are ready to do our part, and we are ready to act just as soon as we can to make this right for you. So again, I want you to know that I stand with you in solidarity in making sure that the legislature approves the funding of your collective bargaining agreement. And I want to thank you so much for all that you do for our students, for each other, for our community, for the college. And let's hope that in the weeks ahead we get some very good news very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Douglas. At this point, I'd like to introduce Mike Geary, who is the president of our Bristol Community College chapter, for some comments. Mike, come on up.
So thank you, everyone. I'm glad to see some of us out here today in support of this. At the end of the day, what this really comes down to is this is about fairness, right? We're folks who have been working hard throughout the course of the pandemic, and this is a contract that not just expired, but is also 2 years old prior to that. And at this point, as cost of living has gone up, it's been very difficult for everyone working here, folks who live locally, folks who have a commute to get here with the cost of gas going up and such. But just at the end, what it comes down to here is that we're playing politics with agreed upon contracts. This is not what you should be playing politics with, right? They can get behind Mass Reconnect, and we fully support Mass Reconnect. We love the idea of free community college, and we look forward to the day when free community college is a thing for everybody. But in doing so, let's respect the people who are going to be working with these students, who are going to be educating them, right? That's us. That's each and every single one of us. Not just the faculty in the classrooms, but also the staff. the folks who are going to be advising them, right? The folks who are going to be there for them when they're going through their academic difficulties, their academic support staff. It's all of us collectively. So that's why we're here today, right? Fair pay, now. Fund the contract, now. Fund the contract, now. Can you folks join me in that? Fund the contract now. Can we do a little louder than that? Fund the contract now. I still can't hear you. Fund the contract now. One more time so the people in Boston can hear us. Fund the contract now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So in addition to the unfunded contract and the fact we've been working without raises for 3 years, there's a second issue. And the second issue is that for the next contract, which has begun, the bargaining has begun for our successor contract, the governor has chosen thus far to hold just the MCCC to the parameters that were put out by the previous governor, Governor Baker, which is 2%. Our legal team believes that Governor Healy can, in fact, decide to offer us the same 8% 1 year that's been offered to every other higher ed union in the state. To that end, you may have seen in your emails or around the place a petition that we've put together to ask the governor to please extend the 8% offer to the MCCC members who already are suffering as we wait for the funding of our contracts. So if you have not signed the petition, and you do not have to be an MCCC member to do so, QR code students, supporters, non-unit professionals, administrators, anyone who agrees just in basic fairness can sign this petition. As of today, there have been 6,000 plus signatures on this petition. That's huge for a short amount of time. And tomorrow, a delegation will be meeting with representatives in the governor's office to bring these petitions. So this is a time-sensitive piece. But it's very important that the governor also hears from us. We support her Mass Reconnect. We're looking forward to the day when community colleges will be free, hopefully starting next year. But we need to have the kind of support also of our staff and our faculty so we can adequately support our students. It is hard to retain and attract faculty and staff when the pays are already so low. So why not, at a time of cost of living so high, why not bring the MCCC up with everyone else? So please, if you haven't had a chance to sign the petition, all you need is your QR code. It's an online petition. I will have this for you here. Thank you. At this point, if there is anyone who would like to share what this experience of not having your contract funded while we are doing critical work here at the community college level, if they would like to say some things, please come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. J.P. Nato.
Thanks, Colleen. Yeah, does this work? So I just wanted to make the point that I think just the fact that we're all here, some of the most patient people I know who've waited every Wednesday since May 2023, hoping that the legislature would fund our contract, we are finally coming out and making a very respectful plea to be respected. It's disgusting that that's necessary because of all the people that I know in education, people at a community college do everything they can for the students at that college. And this sacrifice that community college educators take on every day, unthinkingly, they can't not do it. We have to ask special permission, whereas for things that other educators in the state are already getting. Speaking with people in the crowd before the event, I know people are feeling what I feel, which is disrespected. It's demoralizing, and President Douglas was right in framing the situation. All that we've gone through in the past months and years, all that we've helped the college go through, and all that we've helped Bristol students go through over that time, it's time. We need to have this contract funded. Maybe it's this Wednesday, but my hope's running out. Thank you.
The mic is open if anyone would like to share. Dr. Kelly Hiller.
So I want to speak to the part of hiring, especially in our health sciences area. So I work in health sciences. I often chair a lot of search committees trying to get qualified and good individuals in here to educate our students to go out in the community and take care of you and your loved ones. And I personally, and I know many of the folks that are here, took a pay cut many years ago to come here to do this because I felt so strongly about educating the future healthcare workers. In doing so, I don't know about if I'm alone in this, but I have had to work other jobs. I have had to do extra work to be able to pay my bills and pay for my child in the future to go to college. Not to mention the student loans that I have amassed in my educational career. But in this challenge of finding people to actually be hired here and retain them here, we're really struggling to get a robust pool of candidates, and we have many, many open positions because of this, because nurses are making so much money out in the field right now. We can't get them to come here to work for us, especially now that we don't have a raise. And so I really want to encourage you to please fund this contract so we can get future healthcare workers out there that are very well qualified and very educated so they can take good care of you and your loved ones. Thank you.
Hi, I also want to take this opportunity. I see some colleagues from AFSCME who are here, and I want to say this to our AFSCME colleagues. Thank you. I know that you also are dealing with funding of your contract. You have not gotten paid for what was promised you on July 1st, and that stinks. And maybe this would be a really good opportunity for us to work together and support each other in this, in getting the funding we need from the state. Thank you.
All right, so before speaking as chapter president, rallying troops, but I want to tell my story, right? I don't live in Massachusetts, right? I live in Rhode Island, right? And on a good day, I get here in 40 minutes. On a bad day, it takes me 2 hours to get home, depending upon traffic on 195. And think about how much gas I burn coming here 4 days a week, right? My salary is so low that my second job is to take additional classes here, as many as the college will give me. And if they only give me one, that's not enough, right? I will forever be on the low end of the pay schedule because I need to go back and get an additional credential in order to become a full professor, which I can't do, and I don't know how I'm going to actually do that. So this raise that I'm going to get is not going to make me independently wealthy overnight. It's not going to solve all of my problems, but it's going to make a difference. And the fact that I have to keep waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it means I need to keep saying yes, 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 yes to every single B section that I get offered, just so I can make sure that my 4-year-old is able to afford to go to preschool, right? And that's the way it is for me. Back and forth. How much money do I spend getting here? How much money do I spend to kind of keep the roof over my family's head, right? It's disrespectful that what's not a large amount of money for me, and probably for other people, is being held up because of politics. Right? And as someone who is not a Massachusetts voter, I feel like there's really not much I can do about that because I have no say in who gets elected, right? And it's frustrating. And that's the reality of it. And so as Kelly was talking about the fact that she had to take other jobs, how many of us here have to take additional sections of classes because of the fact that our salaries don't support being able to live? Right, how many of us? So that's our second job. Our second job is where our full-time job is. And we're here more hours than we would be just for a standalone full-time job. And that's the reality of our existence. This is about respect right? It's not about the actual dollars, it's the respect. Fund the contract now. This has gone on long enough, right? And for folks like myself who have to commute a long distance to get here, the disrespect is felt just that much more acutely. As I watch the gas prices go up, and as I watch the traffic getting worse and worse on my commute home, it forces me to stay later and later. And what's lost in that? Time spent with my 4-year-old son. Those are the outside consequences of what happens when contracts are not funded. So I wanted to give my story because I just felt like it adds a little bit of value to why we're all out here today and why I'm out here today with you folks as well. Thank you.
So I've been attending a lot of statewide meetings and meeting colleagues from across the 15 community colleges. And Mike, your story it resonates. We're hearing from colleagues who have been putting off dental surgery because they're waiting for the back pay. We're waiting for our COVID bonus pay, putting aside money for things like upgrading the car. Right? This waiting has had real consequences for us and for our colleagues. I want to say really 2 quick things. The problem, of course, with this funding has to do with the Massachusetts general law that that we make an agreement with management, with the college presidents and the Board of Higher Ed, but then we have to wait for this process where the governor sends a budget, where the House then has to vote on it, then the Senate, then it goes back to the governor. So it's a structural issue. A lot of us may not be familiar with that process. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming today. I appreciate the support, and let's get this contract funded. Thank you.